machine literally designed from scratch chemically. Little, they have little corkscrews and all kinds of things that are mechanical pieces. It's like a bionic cell.
Well, I'm just saying, look, let's just concede that all vocabulary was invented before knowledge of our environment, right? Okay, the word life precedes evolution. It precedes a lot of knowledge. So that's the flaw here, is that we're stuck with a language that is fundamentally broken. There's a huge distinction between, okay, inanimate matter, just raw chemistry, and chemistry that has a DNA molecule that contains its composition and it reproduces. So that would be a distinction point when it contains that DNA molecule that holds a blueprint of its construction. That would be a transition point. So you'd have a new word for that kind of a machine. And then there has to be another new word for a kind of machine that has a central nervous system that is creating the illusion of sensation. That's a powerful distinction. Sensation is, in my opinion, the only value in the universe is created by that manifestation. Okay, without sensation in the universe, there is no meaning in the universe. So, I mean, that's another distinction. And a thing that is doing the feeling thing should not be called the same word as the thing doing the mechanical reproducing thing. These are two different things in terms of degree of functionality. You just can't call them the same thing. Somebody's mic's open and such. Oh, it's probably the girl. Let's see. Kay loves your face. Oh, that's nice. He is cute. But you gotta turn your mic off there, chickadoo. What room is this? It's the room full of irradiation. You're getting irradiated right now. Like 7 million kababazerts of irradiation is getting on you right now. You're just getting so fucking irradiated. Ha 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 ha. I got a whole bottle of Japanese radiation right here. I'm gonna squirt it on you. Na 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 na. Fucker. What room is this? Fucking goddamn people. Martians only. Sorry. Alright, come on, people. Let's go. Conversation. Let's go. Yes, she is cute. It's true. Yes, horribly. Pains me. Causes me fucking illusionary pain. It's really irritating, but it does. Beauty killed the beast. Killing me.
Isn't it fucking depressing that we are facing like so many complex problems and you can't get two people to agree on what is alive and what isn't? Like, we can't even like stick the fundamental part and move on. That's so like it just fucks with me.
Yeah, well, it fucks with me too. It's like, oh, you gotta explain the difference between a microphone and a speaker. Oh no, I can't do that. I really can't. I can't do that again. No, no, don't make me do that. Oh. But that's why I think, like I said, there's got to be some sort of organized effort to do something with our language, because we really need precise language to get into this complex philosophy. You really can't do complex logic with broken words. I mean, the words have to be explicit. They actually have to mean something.
Wittgenstein is a lot of that, but I agree totally. I have a project for that. I totally agree.
Yeah, I have a project too. I never get to it, but I got all these projects. Oh, fuck. Did you see my new little Toolie Bari thingy, Pyro? It's my little comment box thing. It's pretty cool.
I don't think it worked in my browser or something, because yeah, I went to look at it and I didn't see, I couldn't make a comment. what is it supposed to do? Maybe I didn't understand it.
Well, the first thing you can do is you can like select. I can select text in anywhere. Just hit that button, and then I can do a search on any website. Just click one of the links, and it'll search that text. But that's the first little thing. But yeah, it's just a kind of place you can link to videos. You go on a website, like you go to one of my videos, you click on the thing, it'll automatically create the text link and a little icon, and then you can type a comment, and then it'll post it all to that one board. So it's just a way of compiling links. It's almost like a Twitter that isn't a Twitter.
That sounds very...
Who's got their mic open? Come on,
cool.
Romanian guy. Find the guy with the open mic and kill him.
Check it out again. Yeah, I've decided when I get time, I want to make something where you can embed a video, and as it plays, you can click a button, and it annotates the comment right at that time, so you can click through. And also then when you do what you do, where you play the guy's video, if you want, you can click on that link and speak right to that time and not have to, have all the in-between stuff when it's John Paul Golan.
Yeah, well, I was figuring I can add that pretty easily to the thing I made. So I'm gonna do a couple other features I'm gonna add, but that's already that's sort of on my list. I was thinking maybe you could maybe add that part, but we'll see. Because I don't want to mess with any Google API crap.
Cool.
But it's really, I'm
cool.
just...
Yeah, I see how you can do it, because once you have a comment, YouTube allows you to have just in the URL that speak point.
Yeah, well, and through JavaScript you can get right into the web page. So I might even just be able to access the code right off of the, by just hitting some JavaScript to secrete it. So if I can use JavaScript to secrete the time code, it'll be simple. So all I need is the, whatever you call that. I just need the location of the object parameters, not parameters. You know what I mean? The style crap, whatever that is. The you know what I mean? The object properties. That's it. So anyway, enough computer talk, because that'll really turn people off. But anyway, you have to watch my physics video. I got one on the Draft Science channel, and it's still the same idea. I'm still talking about the clock speed thing, but I also had this idea of photons being like they can either connect side by side or linearly. And I was almost thinking that in atoms they almost might just be like a giant piece of spaghetti, and that what happens is like a small energy photon goes in, becomes part of the spaghetti, and because it becomes unbalanced gravitationally, it'll lose a big piece of spaghetti, and that'll be light going in at one frequency, like two little pieces of light go in at a low frequency, and then one high frequency piece of light will fly out. And all light, everything in the the electromagnetic spectrum is all photons. It's not made of anything else but photons. So radio waves all the way to radioactivity, it's all photons. It's just that we see some of them, we don't see others because of their wavelength. And there's like nothing in the universe that isn't moving at the speed of light, technically. It's like all movement is basically the speed of light. There's no other kind of movement in the universe. It only happens on the clock speed, and it only happens one quanta at a time. And so it just has the illusion that there's some other mechanism of event happenings, but there's nothing. There's only photons moving at light speed, and there's nothing else in the universe. Just photons and light speed. Hey Andre, whose mic's open? Come on, fix it.
Basically how I understand it. I mean, and that's why, in a sense, you're standing wave, where it looks like the wave is not moving, but it's really because waves are crisscrossing.
Yeah, well, I thought about it too, but the fact that electrons move so much slower through a wire.
You also do have to add into that there's lots of photons besides the electromagnetic one. They're bosons, is the word.
Yeah, well, I don't care what we call them. I'm just saying there's a quanta particle, and everything else is made out of the quanta particle. and they're all just in schools. Like I said, I love my school of fish analogy because it really does give it meaning. You know, you could have a school of fish, and all the fish are moving at the same speed. And by adding more fish, you add mass to the school. So if the school hits something, it would have an impact, even though everything's still moving, but everything's moving at the same speed. It's not like they're moving. The whole thing is moving at some different speed. It's just all the individual parts are moving at the speed of light. So something can have the illusion of being like an electron, not being a photon, but it's actually just a bunch of photons in a school. Thank you, Andre. You fucking weren't here. Some excuse that is, you know, not being here. You're supposed to still be, the chair should still have enough consciousness to be able to hit your keyboard. God damn it. That's the theory.
Well...
Hey, Left of Center, I just want to say hello. I did see you in there.
Well,
yeah, I mean, you're not Be Right Back, and you're actually on cam. You're looking pretty fit, okay? Life was treating you pretty good, I guess. But you look pretty fit. You don't go fat and chubby like you did there for a while.
Yeah. No, I think he's going to be good until we got President Trump, and then I expect a big sharp decline.
Yeah, President Trump. Well, at least he doesn't like the blacks and the breeders, right? Or who's he against? I mean, but whatever. President Trump. It is just so laughable. But I'll vote for it. Anything that's not Obama's. Some guy who could run would just spell Obama backwards, and I'll vote for him. Okay, anything non-Obama, I'll vote for it.
Say that.
Obama's a motherfucking lying scumbag cunt. I'd rather be killed by my fucking enemies than some asshole saying, I love you, Gary, and now I'm going to stick a knife in your fucking head.
Trump.
Fuck Obama, okay?
But it's Donald Trump we're talking about.
Like I said, I don't care. I do
Fuck
not
Donald
care
Trump.
now. You can fucking come up with the most evil hippopotamus from the fucking Nile River and run it for president, and as long as I got a choice between evil hippopotamus and Obama, I'm voting for the evil hippopotamus.
Donald Trump.
I'm voting for him. If he's,
Well,
if all I got is
talking about.
Obama, if I got that cunt, if the Democratic Party doesn't have enough balls to kick that fucker
Holy shit,
out
you
of
would
town,
vote for Donald
then fuck
Trump
the
instead.
Democratic Party. I'll vote for some loony Green Party crackhead. Okay, some, no, take more LSD. LSD for president. I'll vote for LSD for president before I'm voting for fucking Obama. The lying piece
good.
of fucking shit. He's completely owned by the corporations, completely owned by the rich. Fuck
swear
that
you
cunt.
vote for Donald
How can you
That's
stand
fine.
that fucker?
By all means, vote for Nader, but just for God's sake, don't vote for Donald Trump.
No, I'll vote for him, dudes. I want to double my vote against Obama. I want to have double vote against Obama, so I'm going to vote
I
for a
can't
Republican.
make
I'm going to
mistakes.
vote for the fucking Republican for the first time in my fucking life because I've been lied to for the last fucking time. Clinton killed 1 million babies in a fucking Iraq. Okay, every goddamn asshole the Democratic Party puts on that fucking ballot is a fucking cunt. So until they put a fucking liberal progressive
Trump
on the
has the
fucking
gall to
ballot,
say-
I'm not voting.
You can make a pretty good argument for voting for Donald Trump, because at this point, I'm almost feeling like we need to make a race for the bottom here. Like, we need to just bottom out. Like, I almost
Trash.
wish that, like, we had a Palin presidency. You know, I think we really need to get the bottom of the fucking barrel in.
Yeah, we need to
As soon
start
as
hitting.
possible.
We need to start hitting the walls so we have some hope of destroying our momentum. See, we're heading for the cliff, so we need to plow into the trees so we can wreck the car, so we can slow it down, so we don't go over the cliff. The only way to save ourselves is to kill ourselves.
Obama's not so bad.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to talk. I don't even want to talk about the lying piece of shit, okay? I just don't want to talk about the lying, weasel, fucking cunt, murderous pile of shit.
Am I on dock?
I'm afraid so.
awesome. No, you love me. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, Obama has basically been Ronald Reagan. He's been a black Ronald Reagan. I mean, he's just a fucking nightmare. I mean, he has done absolutely nothing with his president. Nothing. Nothing. He's been the most useless piece of shit we have ever elected president.
Well, you said he was black. That's racist, obviously. You said he was black.
I said he was the black Ronald Reagan. I don't know how that's racist, but whatever. Fine, then I'm a racist. Okay, fine. I hate Obama. If that makes me a racist, then fine. He's about the most un-black man I think I've ever seen, but whatever. I'm racist because I'm anti-Obama, the most un-black man in America. Fine, I'll accept that. Thank you very much.
I think the worst thing about Obama is he wasn't even born in this country. You know,
Oh, whatever. Shut up, shut up, shut up. That's so
Where's the
fucking
birth
irrelevant. Who the
certificate?
fuck cares?
Oh,
Shut
my
up,
God.
shut up, shut
I
up.
couldn't give a fucking
Yeah,
shit
okay,
if
I already
he
told him to
did.
shut up. I already told him to shut up.
Who gives a damn?
Hey, somebody talks about
I
that
was
crap
kidding.
anymore.
I
Well, who
don't
cares?
think
Shut up.
they're humans, first of all.
Gary, Obama on his worst day is better than George Bush.
I'm sorry. I don't. It's now, especially we're in Libya, basically,
Donald Trump,
basically, you know, trying to assassinate Omar Gaddafi after 48 years in power, or whatever the fuck it's goddamn been, and all of a sudden we got all hysterical. We have to go hunt him down and assassinate him, and you're telling me Bush is worse? I'm sorry. I can't see it. 200 cruise missiles. Fucking on Libya, and Bush is worse? I'm sorry, I can't see that.
And I'm wondering what the metric is that we're calling Obama better than George Bush. He sucks the corporate cock just as hard as Bush did. He's at least continued, if not expanded upon, most of the Bush policies. So what's the metric? Because he's like well-spoken. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he can kill a fly. Bush couldn't do that. Well, Obama could just swat them right on his arm there. Yeah, that's his accomplishment in his presidency.
You called an African American well-spoken. That is so racist.
Yeah, whatever. Let's not play that game anymore. Okay, we elected a black man president. I think we can now at least say the word black man without everybody getting all fucking crazy, you know, cunts dripping all over the place.
Well, in that case, I noticed he had very good diction.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it's the worst nightmare for any liberal progressive. This is just the disaster. He's just the Titanic.
No, the TSA.
He's the Titanic of
the worst
progressive
nightmare.
politics.
TSA.
He's just the
I
fucking
hate
fucking
Probably
Titanic.
for not taking the TSA.
I'm not gonna buy another ticket on the fucking Titanic. Fuck it.
Yeah.
He's gonna get elected pretty easily.
Sorry, no sale. I mean, well, of course, the Republicans could put something totally ludicrous on the ballot, and Obama could benefit from that. But I don't see it. Especially another year of this bullshit economy when people. I mean, I can't even rent fucking houses anymore because everybody is so fucking poor. No one will even pay their goddamn rent anymore. All right. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are goddamn sick of this goddamn politics, and they're not going to come showing up to the polls to vote for Obama again. They're not even going to get out of their bed. They're just going to say, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah, they'll vote with their feet, and the incumbent will win.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I think the teabaggers are going to have more energy, you know, to unelect Obama than there's going to be energy to keep Obama by the progressives. So that's all I'm saying. When those two wars come together, there's lots of people that the Republicans hate Obama for racist reasons. They want him out of there. Okay, they keep calling him a socialist. All right. I mean, the guy couldn't be more Reagan, and they're calling him a socialist. So don't tell me they don't have the energy. They have the energy to get Obama the fuck out of there. I mean, you just think how good it'll make them feel. Oh yeah, they elected that black guy, but we showed them he was no good. I mean, they can't wait to unelect fucking Obama.
He's got 1 billion rounds in the chamber, though. That's very nice.
I'm just saying, I'm just going to go by I've never had this much fucking contempt. I've been the one, you've seen my videos in the past. I've argued with people passionately about how they have to vote for the fucking compromise. They can't vote for Nader. They gotta vote for the Democrat. I've done the fucking videos. I've made the fucking argument. And I'm telling you, for me to get converted was a hell of a goddamn step, okay? But I'm done. I'm fucking finished. I'm telling you this right to your fucking face. I'm not voting for Obama. It isn't gonna fucking happen. He's a lying piece of shit that shouldn't be endorsed. Enough politics. Just fuck it. The game is over. There is no politics left. I smoke big fucking expensive cigarettes. God damn, that's what, there's no other kind of cigarette. I smoke expensive cigarettes. Yeah, I'm calm now.
I think the Republicans are probably pretty worried about Trump. He makes them look like they will just feed it to Obama. But if they get an actual candidate in there, the Republicans are ready for another guy that talks conservative, that seems compassionate and soft. Even Mitt Romney, I think Obama has a difficult battle unless the teabaggers do take over. So
well, I'm just saying, look at how they wiped out the Senate and the Congress, Lefty. Lefty, look how bad Obama lost, all right, in the midterm election. I mean, that wasn't just a phantom, all right? That was real, all right? And nothing's changed. So I think you've got a pipe dream if you think Obama's just going to take a little stroll and win. No, he's going to be George Bush 1. He's going to get his ass kicked. It doesn't matter, again, like I said. We get, if Obama win, we lose. Okay? It's just the way it is. Like I said, what has he done? He has done absolutely nothing. Not one bit of progressive legislation has touched his dirty, stinking, lousy, lying, crud, fucking cunt fingers.
He should have held down for the public option.
Yeah, he shoulda. There's a 5 million shouldas, okay? We can go down the whole list of shouldas. Like, he shoulda had an agenda before he decided to be president. He shoulda, like, had some idea of what the fuck he was gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna close Gitmo. Oh, what do you mean I can't close Gitmo? How come? You mean I have to find a place for those guys to live? Well, not my problem. Just keep in Gitmo. Okay. I wasn't lying. I was just not telling the truth. Fucking asshole.
That was a great rendition. Am I in, Doc?
Unfortunately, still there.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'll be right back. Don't kick me. I'm gonna
Yeah, whatever. Be right back. Be right back. Be right back. Be right back. Whatever. New subject, please. Politics sucks. Well, everything sucks. Kittens. Yeah, kittens are a good subject. I thought that was a good analogy I had. What if, okay, that's my thought experiment. Now I guess call this one. like Paul, like what if the world ran on kitten power, right? And you had to put kittens into the center of the earth and had to be slowly squished, like over a 24-hour period, like one kitten per day. Okay, and that's how the earth ran. And the earth couldn't go around the sun, nothing could happen, and humans couldn't do what they did unless we put kitten in there. Who's going to have the job of putting the kitten in the little compactor? And how much would it bother you to say, oh, I'm living because that little kitten's going to get squashed today? You know, just knowing that every day you live, a kitten dies for you to live. And then, that's thought experiment number one. Thought experiment number two is, what if it's a human? Like one human is randomly chosen from the 7 billion every day, and they have to go into the smasher, all right? And they have to get slowly crushed, slowly smushed, just really slow, 24 hours of smushing, okay? Would you want to be in that lottery? You know? I mean, isn't it? It's kind of a weird thought, right? If you're sitting there saying, well, do I want to pull my ticket today? Am I going to get the short stick? I mean, even if it was 1 in 7 billion, you know, you're going to be in it 365 times a year. So now your odds are going to be cut way down. So now it's going to be like 1 in a million. And then when you consider how many years you live, every year it's going to cut it down another 356 chances. So then you're going to be down to like 1 in 20,000. You know, so your odds are 1 in 20,000 that you're going to be the unlucky asshole that's going to have to get squashed. Would that give you any pause? Would that make you like say, oh man, maybe this isn't worth it?
I guess personally, I don't see a whole lot of difference between either of your analogies and reality. I mean, that's being a citizen of a first world country, that our society functions because we put the third world through the meat grinder. I mean, we're slowly starving people to death. I mean, there are enough resources on this planet to feed every fucking human being on this planet. Nobody should be hungry. People are starving to death. I mean, so I guess I don't know how to answer, because I think that's basically the situation that we're in now. The function is a little different. Like, we're not actually crushing people, but
and you're not, and you're
personally
not at the same risk. So that's part of the equation too. You're personally not really, don't have much of a chance of being born in Bangladesh tomorrow. So you're sort of out of that game.
We're a cunt hair from it, though.
Well, I'm not, look, okay, you're just being a little too smart, okay? I mean, the whole point of the thought experiment is to do exactly what you're illustrating, okay? But, you know, the point is for me to put it so clear to somebody that they couldn't miss what's really happening. And that is that we are consuming something suffering for our existence. And it's not just one thing. It's not just one person that goes through the smasher every day. It's like 100,000 people get their ass kicked every fucking day. Some Chinaman right now is going to die in a coal mine. Okay? Right? It's going to happen in the next hour. 1 an hour. Okay? Another, I don't know, 10 or 15 in the next 5 minutes is going to lose their arm in one of our factories. Okay? That's happening right now. Okay? Right now, they're getting squashed. And we're just talking in stick cam, you know, do, you know, like, oh, well, so, you know. But I'm just saying, if we had a lottery ticket in our pocket, and, you know, we're going to cash it in every hour and find out whether we lose our arm or, you know, get anal cancer or whatever the fucking reward is. Would we play this fucking game? Would we play the game if we watched ourselves negotiating the tickets?
No, I don't think we would. But, you know, those brown people that we're subjugating, they're so invisible. You know what I mean? We don't have to look at them. We don't have to think about them. Fuck, we got commercials to watch. Let's get real here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying that that's, you know, I have to work on this some more. But, you know, that's sort of the angle, is that, you know, if people really had to see it for what the game was, if we could make a board game of life that wasn't like fake Monopoly or something, but really gave people an idea of what life really is on Earth for sentient creatures, you know, would they play this fucking game if they had to play it for real? If you had to be the fucking cow, would you play the game?
I think the problem with your analogy when it comes to reaching people with it is going to be one of two things. You're either going to bump into a person like me who's way too depressed and cynical to actually play the thought experiment correctly, or you're going to run into a person that's way too stupid and deluded and self-centered to even catch the connection that you're making. There's no middle ground. You know?
Okay, well, thank you. You were going to explain the paradox of my stupid life. Thank you, thank you. Oh, is that Natilla? Natilla, Romanian, maybe. It's the wrong name, though. It doesn't technically sound right. It's left the room anyway. But if it is, I gotta find out about her. I haven't seen her in a while. People worry me.
I mean, yeah, but that does fuck with me on the day-to-day. Like, people starved to death today, and I spent an hour and a half in a blog TV watching Brett Keane squirm like a worm on a hook, you know, today. Like, that was a highlight of my Saturday.
Yeah, every time I go to blog TV does have some good chicks, I have to admit. There's some girl in her panties today that was just amazing. But anyway, you know, it really is. You look at. I looked at blog TV the last couple of days. I look at that screen and I'm just like amazed. I'm saying this qualifies as entertainment. This is what we get. This is it. This is the human fucking race. 7 billion people. Here is the cream of the videography, entertainment content. You know, girl in panties. I mean, it's just so pitiful.
You know, a girl in panties. I mean, it's just so pitiful.
Hey,
yeah, well, remember that line from,
Hey,
got your mic open. Gotta close your mic. But yeah, like you were saying about thinking about it, you know, when I was a kid, I used to do that every night when I went to bed.
Yeah, like you were saying about thinking about it. You know,
and it was just so stupid. Turn your mic off, fucker. You still got their mic open.
And it was just so stupid.
Oh, it's you. Fuck shit guy. He's got a different name though. What the hell is he called now? Too many fucking syllables. Anyway, yeah, you know, but I do that when I went to sleep every night. I would start thinking about what was happening to other people, you know, while I was going to sleep. Like, what's happening this minute? How many people are dying? This minute, how many people? You know, all these negative perceptions of all the experiences that were taking place at the very moment I was just sitting there being conscious. You know, just because you have that little time period where you're still awake, but you're tired and you're going to go to sleep, and so your brain just, that's where my brain would always go. It would always go to doing these equations. Turn your fucking mic off. It really pissed me off. Everything's okay now. Anyway, next subject. Let's see. Japanese. Yeah, I haven't been watching the nuclear power plant the last few days, but man, that's gonna be a mess for a long time. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know what there is to say about that Kim Jong-il guy. I mean, just kind of a creepy little whatever. All those. It's like the Japanese king. They still have some guy, whatever he's called, Emperor Hirohito or whatever guy. And he's just so lame. I saw him, and he's wearing an American suit, and he's got like his almost a toupee haircut, you know, just a classic, you know, just so culturally owned, and it's just like, this is pitiful. He's the fucking, you know, he's the icon of your heritage, and the guy couldn't be less Japanese.
Hi, all.
Yeah, okay. Hi. How you doing? Good. Fantastic. Romanian guy. Take care of that guy. You know, I don't think he's going to be making much of a contribution. Yeah, derp. Derp. Derpy derp. Derpity derp, derpity derpy derp derp derp. Derp 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 derp. Nipple nipple derp derp.
I think I'm going to try that out one of these days. I'm just going to take my shirt off and just kind of go into a stick ham room and mug for the camera for a while. There's got to be something to it.
Yeah, no, do a blog TV. Do a blog TV, please, please. You can peek with the Amazing Atheist. Wait till the Amazing Atheist is doing his. And while he's sleeping, you know, you can do your thing, and it would just be, that'd be hilarious. Oh, God. TJ is just so out of control. I mean, I watched an hour of his blog TV the other day. You know, I was switching between two other people. But I mean, he must have picked his nose 5 times. You know, I mean, he just picks his fucking nose. And you're like, what am I watching? You know, and then he gets up and he plays with his belly and bounces it around. And, I mean, and he actually took naps. He took fucking naps on Blog TV. He actually lied down and said absolutely nothing for 5-minute periods. I mean, just like, fuck! And people were in his room.
That's one of the things I've always liked about TJ, though. The just don't give a fuck platoon of him. You know, he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and he gets away with it, you know. I just don't think, I mean, somehow he can pull it off. The rest of the world couldn't, but he can.
Yeah, if I did a blog TV and bounced my belly around and picked my nose and ate the boogers and shit, that there would be 100 videos on YouTube, like the next day, just loops of me picking my nose. But he, you know, nobody calls him on it.
Yeah, I know. It really is depressing. You know, I can't, you know, I really hate some of the video clips I see that end up haunting me. You know, somebody finds these little precious ones out there and just, oh, fuck. Damn. Yeah, well, dropping out of high school is no big deal. I mean, I would have done it, you know, if I could have gotten away with it.
You know, Gary, I was digging around on your channel the other day, and just looking at some of your older videos, and they're still fucking like no audio on 90% of your old videos. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, it almost seems like it's more videos than before, but it probably isn't. But just, yeah, but I did the same thing. I went back and I wanted to see one of my old videos. Yeah, somebody I contact I haven't seen for like 15 years, and you know, I wanted to show them some of my older videos, and I went back to them and they're like, oh fuck, these videos are all broken. But no, it was they were all fine videos. I uploaded them, and then YouTube changed their, you know, the program they used to render the videos, and it just went through a regular rendering period, and they broke them, and then they never fixed them again. And so now I guess they said they were going to, you know, they still have the originals, and they were going to fix them, and they just never did it. They just said yes, we're going to fix them, and they didn't. Your fucking mic's open, Piro.
To lip sync.
Your mic's open, Piro. Hey, retarded Hawaiian guy, your mic's open. It's really loud, like a waterfall. Retarded Hawaiian guy. No, it's not you after all. It's some other fuckwit. Okay, it's some other guy. Romanian guy, take care of that. Okay, sorry. It sounded like your waterfall. My apologies. Yeah, it's just I'm really pissed off. I mean, I still have most of the videos, but I mean, just the whole idea of even thinking about re-uploading those old videos. I mean, they're not that great. It's like some of them are good. The newses and stuff maybe are worth it. So I probably should redo those because those were pretty funny.
Just make another channel, you know, like an Inmendum archive channel, and stick up the good ones, because like I miss some of those videos, man.
Yeah, well, I had done that with the Do Not God channel. That's sort of the sad truth is there's a few of those Inmendum videos that have links to the Do Not God channel where the copy is, you know, and now that's gone. So now it's a bad video linking to a non-existent video. I mean, I just can't win.
Well, in addition to the good philosophical videos, you're denying people like me the drama videos as well, which is just, it's unspeakable.
Yeah, I mean, I was, somebody's been playing some fake Sagan ones here and there, and you know, I was thinking about the old fake Sagan period and stuff, and I was saying, yeah, I gotta go listen to some of my old videos with fake Sagan. That was pretty funny.
I wonder what happened to Fake Sagan and Ocean of Bonnie and Mr. I'd like to.
Yeah, well, they're survivors, so I think that's what they're doing, surviving, you know.
Yeah, Fake Sagan does a blog TV every once in a while where he just kind of sits and plays guitar or cleans one of his guns.
Yeah, that's funny. It's just strange in terms of personality. Just
I
because
think Captain Awesome is probably managing a fast food place by now.
yeah, well, probably. Yeah, Captain Awesome is a weird character too. I didn't really like him much, so sort of don't miss him much. Fake Sagan, I thought had potential as a human being. He was, you know, he
Well,
wasn't.
he might be selling electronics
dumb.
at a Best Buy. I see him doing that.
Well, I see him as running some sort of racket, so I see him as like stealing from Best Buy and selling the stuff on the street or something. You know, I don't really see him as doing an honest
Selling
day's work.
cell phones, probably. He's probably working in a Verizon store.
Yeah,
Verizon
selling used
store,
phones,
most likely.
or else he's putting like used batteries in the new phones. So he's got some kind of racket, no doubt. Yeah, I just didn't see that coming. I didn't see Fake Sagan just cracking like that. He really did turn into a lunatic. I wonder what like Halcyon's doing now. You know, I don't. You know, now that he's, you know, his boyfriend moved out of town. Yeah, fanny pack guy, that's right, yeah. I forgot that was my label for Halcyon, creepy fanny pack guy. Oh, yeah, he's a strange one. I admitted that plants process information? Well, I don't know, technically, I guess you can say it. It's a stretch. Okay, last real cigarette of the evening. God, I hate these cigarettes. I keep buying, you know, I actually put them outside in my car, right, the pack the other day. And so I have to walk all the way outside to get a cigarette every time I want a cigarette. And I just did it. I just went out in the rain, got another cigarette. You know, and then I just go out in the rain and get another cigarette. I mean, it didn't stop me at all. It was just, I was just amazed that it didn't deter me one fucking bit. So I'm gonna have to put them in a tree like a half mile from the house or something, you know, just so I have to work for my cigarette. But you know, I'm having that contest where I'm giving away that flip minnow camera. I actually sold one on eBay today for $75. That was pretty good. I don't know why Casio would stop making them. I mean, Cisco. I mean, they just spent whatever $2 billion to buy the company. Why the fuck would they stop making them? The trick is, I don't know why they're making them with these internal batteries that you can't exchange. That's going to be the tricky part. When everybody's camera starts dying, I'm wondering what the fuck they're going to do then. These people are going to be kind of pissed when they say, oh, you man spent $200 for a camera and after 5 years I can't use it anymore? That's kind of bogus. Alright, people, come on.
Gary, what do you think the extent of the nuclear disaster is going to be? Do you think they can live in North Japan, or the whole thing's fucked up, they die at 65, they have 3 arms on their babies? What do you think?
No, I think it's more like it is. I think it's just it's a classic Chernobyl circumstance. You know, there's going to be a few hundred people that are going to have to basically get killed sealing the thing up, you know, because they're going to have to do that eventually. Once they get it stabilized, they're going to have to just concrete the whole thing. And they'll have to create a venting system, and they'll have to, you know, they'll have to keep, you know, pulling radioactive waste out of it just because of the groundwater. I think they're going to have a groundwater problem that Chernobyl didn't have. You know, they're going to keep leaching radiation into the ocean. But I mean, you know, it's not, you know, I mean, it's only going to be within that 20 and 30 mile range that's going, all the heavy radioactive elements will fall. So further away, it's not going to be that bad. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be drinking no milk, you know, in any dairy farms up there. And the fisheries. Well, what's going to happen to the fisheries is the real tricky question, because you know, the big fish, the predator fish, are going to get radioactive. I mean, just like they're going to absorb mercury, they're going to absorb these radioactive, you know, iodine and the rest of this shit. They're going to absorb that. I mean, the ocean absorbs a lot of it, but they're going to absorb it, and they're going to become radioactive.
Well, I mean, 20, 30 kilometers, I think that's the part where people, like, really won't live and stuff. I mean, it's going to be more like 120, I think, for the people that, like, have a noticeably higher incidence of child cancer and things like that people do, as you point out, live with. But, you know, I think it'll be notable. I think it's, you know, Japan is so small that I think it's going to be, you know, something similar to Katrina, to how wiped out New Orleans was, even though supposedly there still is a New Orleans and it's coming back slowly.
Yeah, no, it's a big disaster. I mean, it's a big hunk of real estate they've lost, and, you know, displaced people, and, you know, I think they're going to have to create a lot of industry. You know, it's going to be like workers, and, yeah, you're not going to want to raise a family, you know, too damn close to that fucking power plant. But I think they're going to be able to stabilize it enough that, like, again, it's probably only going to be that 20-mile range kind of thing that'll be the dead zone. And outside of that, your numbers aren't going to be much higher than an airplane pilot or something.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but I want to take your regular side of it, is that the reason they're going to just, like, go, oh, we can deal with it, is because humans will fucking deal with anything. In reality, if humans had a high standard, they'd move, you know, 300 kilometers away or something. I mean, we're having it in our milk here, but it's way below, you know, the toxins. But we're having it, and there's an effect. We're thousands of miles away. So, you know, it's just because humans will be cockroaches and radiation unless it kills us that day, you know. If we can live 5 years and make a kid that lives 5 years, it probably would.
Well, I saw a little video of a news story about this old guy that moved back to Chernobyl, you know, because he couldn't make any money and he was just blah, 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 and so he went back to his home in Chernobyl. And he was an older guy, so you're saying, well, maybe it doesn't, you know, matter, but it was just sort of a sad story, you know. He basically moved back to the dead zone, you know, and said, I'd rather have a dead life in the dead zone than starve to death in some shitty little apartment they gave me.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, if your family had lived someplace 1,000 years, you might feel that way. So I checked in Japan, and they've been over there 30,000 years, 15,000 years, like steady evidence, like current Japanese, but 30,000 years ago. So, you know, you can almost imagine that if you can have kids and reproduce, maybe you live there, just like people live with the volcano going off or something. I mean, for 30,000 years, you might feel like, well, if I can keep going in some sense, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like people live through a drought, and that shortens their lifespan, and, you know, at a certain point, humans are just like, they don't even think about their lifespan. If they can keep going long enough to not actually drop dead, they'll do it, especially if they live someplace, you know, that many generations.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be horrible, you know, for some people. It's got to be a horrible conflict, you know, that they're dealing with. Because, yeah, I'd be hard pressed to leave if it was my land and my home and my world, and, you know, I'd almost say, well, if I can get another couple of good years out of it, I'd rather have those than, you know, be taken out of my world, you know. I mean, it's like the government's giving them, what, $1,500 or something? I heard some kind of stupid number, you know, that the government's forcing the power plant to reimburse the people displaced, and you're saying, you know, fuck. You're going to give me $1,500 for my life? Alright, 12,000. Still, it's still not a number. You know what I'm saying? How do you, you know, how do you write your life off for that?
Well, right, no, and you take it's like smoking or other negative things. I mean, you have to take the lifestyle, which, you know, including giving up the place you're comfortable. And, you know, if you combine it with, like, I'm not anti-natalist, but I am sort of like, well, if you do lose your life holding on to what you prefer to have, you know, it was kind of, you got something extra, and then something extra went away. So there, I can see, on the other hand, if you ever, I had to read in high school, on the beach, where they slowly die in Australia, and,
oh, you got to see the movie.
That's where
You've got to see that movie. You've got to see that movie.
Because, you know, it's a realistic idea.
Yeah, the movie is fantastic. It's got,
I think I might have, but I
it's
forget
got
it.
Fred Astaire in it, you know, which is really bizarre. What's his face? Cary Grant. You know, really some great actors, and it's got this crazy Australian Bingleberry music going on in it and shit, and it is just so colossally depressing. Oh, it even has that guy from Psycho. What's his name? That little nerdy guy from Psycho. It really good. I mean, weird ass fucking movie. When I first saw that movie, I didn't know what it was about. You know, I didn't know what was coming. And it was like, holy fucking shit, this movie is so spectacularly depressing. I mean, it was just fantastic.
Right, well, see, that's where my sort of life neutralism or some zero thing overlaps here, is because I agree, and it's like, it is a really realistic, and the book is, you know, just as well as super depressing about the inevitability of life. But see, to me, it conveys about how it's how you die. If they got to live fine and then suddenly die, I mean, the point was the people that died right away were the lucky ones. So there was sort of an anti-natalist message, but only because it was so terrible. It's kind of like, if something that's terrible happens, you're better off just to go right away. But you know what I mean? There's still left over of, well, if it hasn't been that terrible yet, you know. It was kind of quality of life oriented. It just didn't have a very positive message about it.
Well, I'm just saying, it did cut it down to...
I can imagine that's going to happen in the world with some nuclear war and then some part of...
you know, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you know, it did cut it down to its naked nuts kind of thing of what is life. I mean, life is this quality thing, like you just said. It's this. Well, let me get these last moments. Let me live for what living is, which is racing the car, or you know, the real sad part was the, you know, the woman who had the baby and she had to kill her kid, and you know, that you know, those moments you can say, well, how could you ever even, you know, it's kind of hard to survive that as an emotional experience and recover enough to be able to have some sort of positive ending to your life. You know, do the happily ever after suicide when you've had to kill your kid first. I mean, that's just kind of dismal.
Hey, have you seen this weird movie? I think it was called The Cube or something, and it's, these guys are in this science fiction, they're in this death cube every time they go into it. It's just terrible, and it's just destroying them, and you keep thinking, it's kind of a frustrating movie because you think you'll find out what's going on, but you don't. All you ever know is that, like, they have to crawl around this thing, and it tries to kill them every turn. And, but it's sort of got a philosophical angle in the sense of, you know, the suspense, and also afterwards, you know, would you want to live in a situation like that? Because it was designed, the movie, such that you really kind of had to be a fool to think there was an escape. It was almost like, no, it was infinite. Even if it wasn't infinite, it wouldn't let you out. You just keep going around these things that would stab you or whatever was the weird thing in that part of that section, you know, like a bunch of cubes stacked together that you're going around in. But have you seen this movie? It's a weird sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I don't get to see too many new movies, but I'll keep an eye open for it. But that just did remind me of that, you know, that Schwarzenegger Martian movie. Just because you could take that a lot of different ways, you know what I mean?
It's old. It's the 90s.
Oh, okay. You know, just because the whole idea of when are you living in a you know, a feudal circumstance, like what if you weren't sure whether you are real or whether you're in a machine, or you know, that whole Matrix idea, and whether how much are you going to fight for the existence if it's not a real existence, or you know that I could go through the whole experience and I wouldn't earn the life because they could turn it off anytime they wanted to. You know, that kind of, you know, where you're caught in a vortex of uncertainty. You know, how do you live that way?
Well, you know, I think that's a pretty good metaphor for how people do live. I mean, they live in this virtual reality. Their brain creates it, but it's connected to this mass popular media. And so the way I see it is people kind of do live in a virtual reality, and that's sort of part of the problem is they choose what it's going to be. You know, I think one manufactured by the artists that are more, that are better at creating imagery, that might actually be better. But maybe not, because in a way the advertising world that does all this manipulation is our artists, the ones that have sold out. They finally got, you know, the actual quality in terms of people that know how to make these 30-second things. They actually are the good people that understand how, like, that art works, and then they use it for products. So in a way, I think we're in this, not everybody, but maybe everybody to some degree, but some people fully in this fantasy world. And it's almost like the same thing as if they put a jack in the back of your head and you didn't know any better. Because you're walking around the mall and stuff, but just your perspective of the world is so different than what it really is. What else can you call it? And especially since all of these droney people, a lot of them, not to insult all people, but there's plenty of these ones, they actually agree on what it's all about. So that's what makes it a virtual reality, is it's not just there in this la-la land, but they actually agree on the la-la land. Somehow, you know, they're making the connection with Matrix jacks yet. And when they get those things, there's no stopping them. I mean, I strongly believe there is no convincing people to be... Some people will be individuals anyway, whether you convince them or not. But this pop culture is going to get really weird when they actually jack in and, like, fuse their little... I mean, the Borg is nothing. The Borg is, like, lightweight. They're going to be so strange and conformist and jacked in, it'll be...
Yeah, well, I don't know, some of that, you know, I mean, To Be Serious made a video about virtual reality, and she sort of ragged on it a bit, and she implied almost that there was this marketing angle, and part of me just finds that so idiotic in a way, because you can't sell potato chips in a virtual world. There's no money in a virtual world. There's no commerce in a virtual world. And the only way I thought that it could be manipulated was that, let's say, to maintain the virtual world, you had to apply some brain power to running the machines and running the hardware, you know, and that there was some
well, you're
obligation.
Thinking of an end game.
Well, I'm just saying that, yeah, a full immersion virtual reality has no marketing angles, is all I'm saying. There's no, because now all value is virtual, so nobody would sit outside of virtual reality and try to make money off the people in it.
Well, she's thinking as it starts off.
Well, I know. Obviously, I'm just saying that's where the technology is going to grow. The rich always get this shit first. You know, they always get the car, phone before the average guy. All that shit. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that it has no end game for marketers. I mean, you can't really make good slaves out of people who are in a persistent vegetative state physically. You know, they really don't do. You know, virtual field plowing doesn't do you much good.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that, you know, she's thinking of a different time, first of all. It's just, you know, I don't know if you could achieve some sort of virtual reality where people just live in there all the time. I mean,
why not? You can do it for 5 minutes. You can do it. It's like any other argument you can make. If you can build something that'll work for 5 minutes, you can build something that'll work for 5,000 hours. Hey, the greatest guy, you're not really that great. But besides that, your mic is open. Even though you got headphones, I can hear you typing. So you gotta turn your mic off. It ain't working.
Oh, I'm bad.
It's okay. Clumpity clump clump clump. It's like some kind of horses trompling around in thick hand. People all got big keyboards or something. Man, it really does.
Well, anyway, my position is kind of like, my position is that I think if this society with so many mental illnesses goes into a virtual reality, you know, and there's an ironic aspect, because somebody that's diagnosed with a mental illness, like Mel's basket case, is not who I'm talking about. The people that couldn't handle this would, you know, we see them right now. This is enough like virtual reality. You can handle it, really, or handle it in obviously dysfunctional ways, and it might be a matter of opinion, but whatever, that's my opinion. And I think if you had virtual reality, you'd have that, you know, like you've talked about, hey, the crazy people that want to be Hitler, because at least they could do it in virtual reality. It's true, it might be better, less damaging, but it's also still sick, and you'd have shitloads of that stuff. But I know,
but why would it be sick? Again, there's no sickness.
Since it is virtual,
there's no sick.
You can sort of afford it. It's sort of that guy.
What if I wanted? What if I really?
Well,
well, Pyro, I'm just saying, if I really loved, if I really,
it can be.
if I
mean,
really,
it can also not
I'm
be
just
sick.
saying, if somebody loved to eat dead flesh, you know, human flesh, why not? Okay, yeah, you know, our reaction is completely based on aesthetics. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Well, I'm just saying that there's no real taboo. There's no taboo in a virtual reality because there's no victim. So I'm just saying, without
tell me this.
Without the victim.
If you had tons of money, would you have servants?
If I was in a virtual world, if I was a virtual world and could really just let go.
No, in the real world.
Well, in the real world, of course I wouldn't. But why would I want to live in the real world? I don't want to live in the real world. I want to live in a fake world where I can fly and where I can have, you know, an infinite number of relationships with women who will only love me for exactly 24 hours. They will love me so passionately they will jump off a cliff, but only for 24 hours. That to me sounds pretty cool.
Well, I mean, so that's the issue, is that if you indulge yourself, so if you wouldn't have servants, is it only because of the kind of relationship with them, or is it for your own good?
I wouldn't have servants in the sense that I would own a plantation that farmed cotton, okay? But I certainly could live with the idea of being the emperor and, you know, having people polish my penis every day. That sounds pretty cool to me. Sure, why not? Penis polishers. I'd like a few of those.
I used to think the idea of servants was
I wouldn't want to. But now as I grow older, I would consider it because, you know, some people want to make a living cleaning up and stuff, and I treat them nice or whatever. And I've realized that I'm lazy enough to do that. But in principle, you know, if you actually had it were a Hitler and were like oppressing and being, you know,
Yeah, well, why would I be a
people,
shithead?
it's
Like I
not
said, like you just
mentally
said, I
healthy.
wouldn't do something shitty.
Well, you wouldn't.
I
I'm just
wouldn't
saying,
do something shitty.
you know, there would be a lot of that shit.
But I'm just saying the whole point of the virtual reality is
Anyway,
to
I
create
think it's a pretty harmless place for people
is
to work
to
that
create
through.
a world where there is no real consequence. That's the whole point of virtual reality, is to take the negative out. So there would be no abusing people. Okay, anything that
I agree. But if you find your kid is pretending to be Hitler,
like I said, why would I care? And like I said, in virtual reality, I'm going to have my own agenda, and it's not going to. My kid can go take care of himself. He can go pick whatever video game he wants to play. I'll pick my game, and they don't have to interact.
would you ever install like a jack into the back of your neck or head or something like that that allowed you to have virtual reality in your brain?
Hell yeah, oh, whatever. I'm all for. Like I said, I don't care. Yeah, I'm for that as a way of existing. So because it can only augment my conscious experience. So what the hell? Why not? I'm not going to let I'm not going to let IBM do the installation. But you know, besides that, as long as it doesn't have like Google technology.
IBM's pretty good these days.
Yeah, IBM's better than Google. That's for sure. I mean, it's so weird, the whole history of computers, the whole way...
Microsoft.
You know, think about Xerox. I mean, when I was a kid, Xerox was sort of like the big enemy. You know what I mean? It was the big, massive corporation. It was kind of ripping people off, blah, blah, blah. And Xerox, basically, you know, they are the core of a lot of this technology. I mean, we wouldn't have a mouse without Xerox. And they gave it away for free. You know, it's just amazing. They had this technology, and it's like they didn't patent it. They didn't say, we want all the rights to it forever. I mean, it just is amazing when you think that, you know, the whole basic foundation of the computer, you know, and this was a big part of it, was built by Xerox, and they're the company that goes bankrupt and ended up being the good guy.
When I was young, like 18, I worked down at NASA Ames Research and took a bus right past where in the Stanford Research Park where Xerox Park is, and also the Stanford Research Lab, and just crazy, weird, introverted, geniuses type people. But yeah, no, exactly, no. And they had that. Same thing with AT&T in a way.
So, whose mic is open? It couldn't be Black Cat's. Come on. Anyway, I guess it's okay now. No, I can still hear the feedback. Weird. Fucked up. Andre, where's Andre? If I close, Black Cat's still here. Okay. Turn off Jimmy the Jazz Cat. Jimmy's the guilty party. Okay, Jimmy, you got a chance to bail, or I'll kick
I'm
you.
working on this project now, which is really simple, like board games. But it's really sort of a plot to make the cyberspace similar to what the Snow Crash, which is a cyberpunk novel.
No, Pyro's mic, it wasn't Pyro's mic that was the problem. Somebody had their mic open, which was causing feedback. But I took care of the problem. Yeah, I wished, you know, I tried to sort of like...
Yeah, no, I've got mic control.
I tried to get you know, I solicited a couple of game companies, you know, 10 years ago, trying to get some sort of like job, you know, like just get an in the door somehow, because I really wanted to do game design.
Well, I'm going to start a business. You and I should go in. I'm going to do it sweat equity, so how much hours you charge depends how much of the company you own. We make an online game.
Yeah, well, online's a little, you know. Yeah, it's okay, but
I've worked with way more psychotic programmers than you. I mean, that's one reason I know how to just take people as they are, because I've worked with programmers. I worked with one guy, and nobody wanted to work with him in the game industry. He would get mad and bang the side of his desk, and his keyboard would bounce up and down, and everybody thought he banged his keyboard, which he never did. And he was really awesome. Except for he was too willing to do the bullshit they asked him to do. He'd be like, could you make this system in 2 days before we release? It's impossible, but okay.
yeah, well, that's the whole
Of course,
problem.
then do it.
With how systems, working within companies and all that kind of crap and their dopey agenda. Because, I can't, I do some side work for this one company, internet stuff, and it's just such a waste of time. It's like, every project never gets to completion, and you're just like, fuck, what the hell, we get this 80% done, and all of a sudden you're like, no, we're going to switch providers, or some other bullshit comes up, and you're just like, how do you people stay in business? I mean, you just, all these false starts.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what started to bother me about it, actually. But on the other hand, the cool thing about it is, one, it was a lot of really, also, you don't have to have a traditional education. Like this one guy was talking about learned how to program in the military, and then we had a couple people that had no college education that were just hackers, and all kinds of people that learned programming all different kinds of ways. If you knew how to program and were actually good at it, then you could do it.
Yeah, well, that was my, I mean, I thought I could get an in somehow, but yeah, you really got to know somebody, kind of thing. But yeah, I really didn't have great programming credentials. I mean, I have to concede. I mean, I'm just a slob, complete slob. So that, but I mean, I really want to just get into the idea, the psychology of the game, more writing the story and, that kind of thing.
Well, my plan has a lot to do with when I was in computer games, doing online games. I was lucky enough, I worked on this AI server for a couple years for the computer programmed, characters. And the main problem in online games is nobody's ever figured out a plot engine, right? The closest they have is the plot of, you want to kill some guy, you want to, Grand Theft Auto or whatever. It all comes down to there's some monster next and you're going to shoot it. And, I sort of have a solution to this in a way to approach this problem and make more of a plot-oriented thing online. Because traditionally, if you use the style of development that they used for those old LucasArts games and Sierra Online games, it doesn't work online. Where they had actual plot online, that gets consumed really quickly. 2 years of work will take fucking, 3 days for an online community to consume. So instead, all they do is get a bigger monster, and they can just kind of throw these carrots out in front that are so simple-minded. But, yeah, I mean, that's really the problem to solve with online games, actually, to make games like people want to play, which are about plot, like movies, They don't really just want everything to be about a bigger monster.
Yeah, well, I think the idea of randomizing would be so easy to apply. It's like, I remember, like, Monopoly, when I first played it, you could get an online version, and it was just like the regular board game. And I was almost saying to myself, well, they should have made it better. You know what I mean? They should have, like, made it, randomized it, and changed, had, like, maybe a lot of 300. Oh, okay. Sorry. Microphone problem. I thought about, I played Monopoly online. I mean, just when I got the software version, it was just like the regular board game, and I just thought it was so dull and boring. And it was just like, I'm just saying, well, why don't they just randomize this? Randomize the game and make enough pieces where you could almost change the story by just randomizing it. You know, like if you have 7,000 modules of storyline and 7,000 modules of room dynamics and 7,000 modules of armaments, you know, just different varieties, and then you just randomly, you know, mix and match those. You can always create a new room. You can always create a new adventure, and it would never be stale because each room would be a newly generated, randomized. You know, there would be billions of permutations. And it just seems like that's what a game should be able to do. It shouldn't just play the same game over and over again. It should create a new game with each game.
Well, I'm doing something like that. I'm starting off with a board game kind of idea where each space has the rules of that game in it, and you can, you know, add them together and connect different games together with their spaces, and then eventually these are just, you know, you could have these kinds of things implicit in it and not see the spaces, the regions, but they control what rules are in play when you're in a particular region, and that's exactly how, when we were doing like an actual 3D world, you do the same thing. You know what I mean? If you walk into a region and suddenly it activates some bit of code and that relates to that region. So basically, you know, there's a similarity underneath in generating plot between board games. Board games tend to generate plot, right? Games that are don't tend to generate plot. You can fill these cutscenes, but they don't actually generate the plot. Whereas when you play Risk or Monopoly, there's sort of a storyline. You could, if you wanted, if someone was into it, you could add a narrative and there'd be a plot line, a rags to riches story of some sort. And
well, I'm just saying, or you could change the card dynamics. You could have like a heart attack card or some other. You know what I'm saying? You could throw in all kinds of more variables because you're not limited to having some kind of physical property. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you have to build the physical pieces. So now you can do an infinite amount of constituent parts, and so you can. There's so much room to create a new character. Each time you shuffle the deck, you'll never get the same deck again.
Well, right. Well, right, and also because if in a game of Monopoly, the boardwalk piece is just a tile that can be placed anywhere, it may be placed anywhere on the board, you know, and the board may or may not have to be 10 by 10 by 10 or whatever. It might be possible to have the squares go other ways, or, you know, so there would be a lot of permutation.
Yeah, well, what if Boardwalk and what if Boardwalk and Park Place?
I would like to see it sort of real time, like everybody moves at once.
You know, what if Boardwalk and Park Place could also be, instead of a 2-property deal, it could be a 4-property deal or a 5-property. You know, and each game would randomize that number, so you couldn't build on them until you had 3 of these or 4 of these. You know what I mean? Instead of having the same standard gameplay where you know what the dynamic is, like there's 4 railroads, or there's, you know, this many this. Instead, there could be 10 railroads. You know, there could be 15 utilities, you know, some kind of game like where it can, you know, it could be a completely different game because of what's available in the game to be played.
Right. Well, what I kind of want to do is, and this is all under non-disclosure agreement, everybody, but what I want to do sort of is in a way rip off but change to the extreme, like you're saying, the rules of these old board games we used to have, and in the core is sort of like the game of life, which I used to like, but I outgrew around 12 because it's so limited. But basically a game of life where, you know, part of the board, if you happen to go in that direction, is a Monopoly board, and a part of the board is a Risk board, and another one is a Clue, and, you know, it's like where you go, and also you can place tiles, so you're actually creating these things exactly to, you know, emphasize the permutations. So you might not start off with a full Monopoly board, but just like a portion of it with a few of the properties. randomly placed in there in an L,
Yeah.
and you can finish it in a square or some other shape.
Look up the game Opportunity Knocks. I think that's the name of it. But it's basically a board game that was much more like life, because what you could choose was to either be a hero, a businessman, or like an artist. I can't remember. It was like love, money, or fame. Yeah, those are the three things you could choose to go after. And whoever got to 100 points in any one of those categories first wins the game. So it's like you could try to be an astronaut, you know, and get astronaut points, get fame points, or you could try to get, you know, find the perfect woman and have the love points, or you could try to get the money and you'll just get enough money to win. And so it sort of gave you a choice, a strategy going into the game, you know, based on then whatever the other guy is also trying to do, you know, and so it sort of had an interesting dynamic. So to me, it was a lot more like life than the game of life, you know. It was kind of funny because it really had a real, like, you do have to make these choices in life. Like, to get one thing, you have to sacrifice the other things.
That's interesting. I was trying to look it up, haven't found it yet, but yeah, that's exactly how I was seeing the overall game. Is that, you know, there's different categories that you can so-called win at, and also if you lose, you know, this game would have, you'd still get a, you know, like a tile or a card for your own home space or some sort of secondary prize. You want to win, but, you know, partly it's like you get experience for playing the game, and it's sort of appropriate to whatever you accomplish.
Yeah, well, there's just so many ways this goes. But I mean, I sort of got this idea when I was playing Tomb Raider, because there was the one room that had dinosaurs in it. And it was really kind of a fun room, you know, because you had to take down like a Tyrannosaurus, you know, with a shotgun, and you had to be kind of sneaky about how you did that. And you know, but I just thought about, like, each time you went into the room, the dinosaurs should do something different. You know what I mean? Their behavior should be different. There should be different kinds of dinosaurs. I mean, it just seems so simple to me that they could do that. And, you know, the game didn't have that feature. It was basically the same dinosaur room, and the dinosaurs basically behave the same way. You know, you get them to behave a little different if you changed your strategy, but it was basically the same idea. And it just seemed like that was so lame. Like, they could have done so much more with that.
Was the game maybe called Careers?
Yeah, that might be it. Careers, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the cards you picked from were like Opportunity Knocks. Maybe that was what the cards were called, or something else in the game might have been called that. But Careers, that's it. Yeah, Careers.
Yeah, that's what hit. It says there's a space or something called Opportunity Knocks.
Yeah, that's all I remember. You know, that's a long time. It was like, you know, when I was 10 years old, so it's a long time ago. But it was really an interesting game.
Well, I think the thing about the game Life, which is sort of lame, is the amazing thing, is that it isn't even more lame. It's so limited and provincial, and because it had to make these choices. It's like the kind of game could be good with millions of variations. You know, each space is like a unique set of rules and cards. That's a good idea, but it's so limited that it's amazing that it even appealed at all. And I think it appeals. I mean, I played games my whole life and was always a gamer. And other kids would play Life up till around 10 or 11. I went to about 12, and I noticed that they were right. It was kind of boring. But it wasn't sort of the game design fault. It was that it was a material thing, and there's one life board. What you need is an infinite number of life boards every time. You know, similar with themes, but you know, and